Well guys, so some of you might remember this thing who have been subscribed to me long enough. I picked this thing up, I don't know, year and a half ago. Had a blown motor. The guy ran the original GCV engine, Honda GCV190, with very low oil in it. Well, it exploded. Not literally, but it exploded inside. So now I'm at the point where this thing turned into a huge debacle. Finding parts for this wasn't the easiest. I had to end up special ordering the crankshaft because I was gonna rebuild that original motor. I literally waited for that thing to show up for almost 2 months. I'm not kidding you guys. And then in that course of time, I did end up getting those parts. You know, a month and a half, 2 months later. I got a new piston, a new set of rings, get to that in a minute, the new crank, a couple new seals and gaskets, and I got the box at the house about a couple weeks ago, and I was like, wow, I can finally get started on this. Sure as shit, they sent me the wrong damn piston rings. They were literally half the size of what they should have been. A normal, GCV piston is going to be a little bit bigger than this, maybe, I don't know, ½ inch wider in circumference. And the rings could literally fit inside of here very easily. That's how small they were. They were almost like they were off a 2-stroke weed eater. That's how small they were. The box was labeled with the right part number, but that was the last straw with that whole thing. I had waited a month and a half for all those parts to get in stock before they shipped them to me. Like I said, I was waiting on the crank. That's what slowed everything down. And they ended up sending me the wrong piston rings. I'm sure that was Honda's fault because it was in a Honda box, and I was pissed. I was furious. So I emailed them, told them I wanted to return the whole order. I told them what happened, and they completely understood and refunded me my money. They gave me an RMA, and I returned it. I ended up doing a little bit more searching online, and thankfully, as you guys can see here, I ended up finding, hopefully, the correct replacement motor for this stupid thing. I looked for this motor, and I could not find it anywhere. As you guys can see here, I have a nice, new, shiny Honda GCV190. Let's go ahead and pull it out of the box and make sure the crankshaft is the correct size. They packed this thing very interestingly, to say the least. So I'm going to go ahead and rip off all of this plastic, and then I'll show you guys the end result. And so it appears that we are in luck so far. The shaft length looks like the proper size. I did not have a single motor in the Horde that would have worked on this thing. Not without spending a little bit of money to set it up properly in order to use it in this kind of fashion. Because with a pressure washer engine or any other sort of application, you need a manual shutoff switch. You don't necessarily need a flywheel brake like you do with a lawnmower. And they're just kind of set up a little bit differently. You can buy all that stuff, but you know, it's easier just to not have to spend the money on it. You guys know where I'm coming from on that. So anyways, let's go ahead and line this thing up on this pig and go from there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and push this thing up into place. And what I did was I started the key on first. That one's in. So now just these other two, you guys don't really need to see that. And so now I just have to put the correct amount of oil into it. Sure love this thing. Best $4 I ever spent. Well, so it works. Sounds like the pump is making a little bit of noise. You guys will hear that when I turn it on. And for some reason it keeps on knocking these out of the top there. But figure I'll just hold on to this thing. Run it until it breaks, I guess. I doubt the motor will ever break. The motor will probably outlast the pump at this point. But go ahead and turn it back on and see what happens. Also need to wash the van in a couple spots.